Let's take a crack at doing this challenge, which was the if statement challenge. Uh, Flip over to Windows, create a new project, and I'll make it an empty project. Next, I'll call it if statement. It doesn't matter what you call it, doesn't matter where you put it. Check the box that says place the solution and the project in the same directory. So create. All right. This live share stuff is a bunch of BS, so get rid of that. Right click on source files and add and a new item. It's going to be a C++ file. I'll call it main.cpp. And here it is. So we can begin with include of IO stream, because I know I'm going to need that. And then I know that I need using namespace std. And then int main. Now there are different styles for where to put your braces. And over the years, I have vacillated between several of them. My current favorite is to use the opening brace on the same line as what's causing the opening brace. And that uses up, rather than this, where it is on two lines, uses up one less line, obviously. Okay, so enter two ages. So they're both going to be integers. So int age 1 and age 2. And let's put out a prompt, and we'll enter them separately, like we did in the code that we started in class. So cout, enter age 1 and semicolon, cin. Notice that the chevrons go in the opposite direction towards the variable. So you're putting something in the variable. Cout, enter age 2. And cin to age 2. And so I wrote a little. Let me test a little. Okay, so cout, wrong direction for the chevrons. There we go. And entered. Notice how I can print out more than one thing. I can chain these left chevrons together. So entered age 1 and age 2, and then give me a new line at the end. The last thing in main is a return value. Okay, let's try that. I'm going to click on the local Windows debugger. It's building now. And it has completed building, and now it will launch the debugger and the program itself. Anytime you're ready. I swear, the more things improve, the worse they get. There's absolutely no reason why this should take that long. And I'm on a fast computer too. Microsoft should be embarrassed. Thank you. All right, so 24 and 93. Entered 24 and 93, and the program has exited. So press any key to close the window. Okay, so I'm happy about that. I think that I will delete this line. It's okay to do extra code when you're testing. If you wanted to keep that line, you could, for example, make that a single line comment. All right, looking at our requirements. If both ages are 16 or greater, print that both persons can drive. So that's going to be an if statement, and it has the word both in there. So that implies an and. So if the age 1 is greater than or equal to 16, and age 2 is greater than or equal to 16, then print both can drive. And a new line. All right, so I wrote a little. Let's test a little. So I save and ask it to run. And I'd imagine it would go faster this time. Yeah, there you go. So I want to test 4 cases, right? So where neither is greater than 16. So I printed nothing. That's correct. Now let's do one of them are greater than 16. Printed nothing. That's correct. And now let's do both of them are 16. So we'll test 3 cases. So 19 and 29, and both can drive. Good. All right. So we've done the first. Let's take a look. If at least one person is 21 or greater, print at least one can rent a car. This at least one, that sounds like an or. Either the first one is greater than 21 or the second one is greater than 21. In either case, both cases, I want to print out the message. Age, ooh, that's the wrong thing. Age 1 is greater than or equal to 21, or age 2 is greater than or equal to 21. And it says at least one can rent a car. So see out. At least one can rent a car. Okay, and I wrote a little. Let's test a little. So I'm going to enter ages to test. I've already tested the first one, so I'm going to enter ages in order to test the second one. So that would be, let's say, neither can rent a car. And good, it printed nothing. And let's try one of them can rent a car. Okay, both can drive. At least one can rent a car. Okay, good. And that's not true. I think you'd have to be 25 to rent a car. But let's imagine it's a better world than it actually is. Let's try the being president. If both ages are less than 35, then print neither can be president. So there's that word both again. So that's going to imply an and. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just copy this one because it's so similar. Control C and Control V. If age 1 is, let's check, less than 35. So that's not less than or equal to, now it's just less than 35, and age 2 is less than 35. Then I'll print neither can be president. And wrote a little, test a little. It's getting a little cumbersome to test because I have to go through 3 of these now, but that's okay. I have time. So 30 and 30, neither can be president. How about 30 and 60? The neither can be present was not printed, and that's the correct behavior. So let's move on to the last one, which is actually the hardest. If exactly 1 is 25 or more, print that only 1 can be a senator. Okay, so how would you do that? So you're looking for exactly 1. So if 1 is 25 or greater, then you have to make sure that the other isn't, and vice versa. So it sounds like there's a conjunction of multiple clauses here. So let me lay that out. So if age 1 is greater than or equal to 25, then we have to check to make sure age 2 is less than 25. So if age 1 is greater than or equal to 25 and age 2 is less than 25, so that will handle the case only if it's age 1 that is old enough. But now we have to add another layer of parentheses. So there's on my first clause, that's complete. Or the second clause, in which case it would be age 1 is the one that has to be less than 25. And age 2 would have to be the one that's greater than or equal to 25. And balance out the two parentheses. And finally, we can print the message. Exactly 1 can be a senator. All right. In reality, we know that in our actual political system, you'd have to both be 906 years old. So let's try that. All right. So I'm going to enter data in order to test the senator case. So here's a 30 and a 30. So it won't print anything about being a senator. Here is a 60 and a 60, and it didn't print anything about being a senator. That's correct. And now I'll put in the case where age 1 is appropriate and age 2 is not. Exactly 1 can be a senator. Good. And now I'll put it in where age 2 is the one that satisfies. Exactly 1 can be a senator. Okay, I think I have completed the challenge. Very good. Uh, Now, in case you ask the question, why was there no endel here, but there are endels everywhere else? That's because when I'm printing out a prompt, my personal preference is to have the user's input on the same line as the prompt itself. So you see I have a colon space, and then that's where the prompt would go. Let's demonstrate that. So here I'm being able to enter the prompt at the end of the line. I'm entering the data at the end of the line of the prompt. Okay, very good. I hope you were able to do this on your own.